Okay, so I'm going to make this relatively quick and easy. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I just want to push for more people to really understand the state and federal laws. So we're going to go through a couple of slides, be quick and easy, get you guys out of here. But just starting off with the first one, read up on the laws in your state to understand where you can and cannot carry your firearm. Places that you may not be able to carry can include bars, post offices, any other government buildings, state parks, hospitals, even shopping malls too. If you really want to understand if you are legally carrying in a location, pay attention to see if there's any signs outside of that building. And just because there's not any signs outside of the building doesn't mean that you can carry in there, because there may be laws that are within your state that just say that you can't carry there. You don't want to end up walking into the wrong spot, something pops off, you get apprehended, and then they tell you, oh yeah, you can't carry here, and then you get arrested for it. Also, make sure that any firearms that you possess are compliant with both federal and state laws. Time and time again, I come on the internet and I see people that either have illegal machine guns, illegal AOWs, illegal SBRs. Just do your research on that just to make sure that you're in compliant with both state and federal laws. If your state has an assault weapons ban in place, read and understand those laws and determine if you are required to register your firearms with the state. Determine which firearms may have been banned by name, feature, or magazine count. For example, in Connecticut, when they ban certain firearms, they make us register those firearms with the state. So what happens is some people don't realize that they have to register their firearms. Then what ends up happening is they either get arrested or, for whatever reason, the police end up having to check out their firearms. They get found with an illegal assault weapon and they get charged for that. So a lot of times people can get charged due to a lack of knowledge, not reading up on the gun laws. Don't just get a gun and not read up on the laws so that you can legally own that gun. Don't be stupid about it, guys. So right here, I just touch up a little bit on what I had previously mentioned. Come to an understanding of what defines a firearm as an AOW, SBR, SBS. An AOW stands for any other weapon, SBR stands for short-barreled rifle, SBS stands for short-barreled shotgun. If you want to learn the definitions of each of these, you can go on the ATF website, type in, just on Google, look up whichever one you're looking for, and you'll be able to figure out, what defines that firearm as each of those. Also, determine if your state has any regulations regarding rate of fire enhancements. For example, that could be a forced reset trigger or a switch. I do know that in Connecticut, any firearm that has a rate of fire enhancement is illegal. So we can't use, a forced reset trigger like a lot of guys are doing. As far as switches, obviously those are, federally illegal. Those are machine guns. Another thing I want to touch up on too is, if you guys know, when you purchase a firearm, there's a form that you have to fill out. It's a form 4473. One of the questions on this form is, are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana, depressants, stimulants, narcotic drugs, or any controlled substances? Understand that while weed may be legal in your state, weed is still federally illegal. So if you lie on this form, you are breaking the law. And, I've seen people brag about like, oh, I got both my weed card and I got my gun card. You're a dummy. See, you're you're gonna get fucked up with that, I'm telling you. You just really set yourself up, because let's say you have to use your firearm in self-defense. That prosecutor can say, hey, this guy, he has a weed card. You know, what if you just happen to get your weed card and your gun card right around the same time and you used your firearm in self-defense? They might try to push and say, oh yeah, this guy could have been under the influence at the time that he pulled that trigger. They may even try to push it to say that you lied on that form 4473. So, that's just something to be mindful of. Um, I definitely know that there are a couple people out there that do smoke weed and they think that it's legal because it's legal in their state, but they don't understand that while they have a firearm, they shouldn't be smoking weed and having a firearm at the same time. Understand your state stand your ground laws or castle doctrine laws. Stand your ground laws allow individuals to use force, including deadly force, to defend themselves without the duty to retreat when they believe they are facing an imminent threat of harm even outside of their home. Castle doctrine is a legal principle that provides individuals with the right to use reasonable force, including deadly force, to protect themselves from intruders or threats in their homes or property. So just understand the difference between both of those and try to figure out which one applies to your state. I do know that in Connecticut, we do have a castle doctrine law. We don't have a stand your ground law. So, you know, in the event that something pops off outside of my home, I have a duty to retreat from that situation. Inside of my home is a little bit different. But, just for example, if someone, punches me in the face in my home, I can't just shoot them. That force doesn't match up to the point where I need to take their life. But, you know, let's say you got a woman that's 5 foot tall, 120 pounds soaking wet, and she gets attacked by some guy in her home who's like 6'3", 300 pounds, you know, using deadly force at that point, even after a punch, might work in her favor. For the next one, we have, in the event that you use a firearm in self-defense, be comfortable with knowing that you will most likely spend time in jail and your firearm may be taken as evidence. It's also a good idea to look into self-defense insurance to help you with those legal costs. Understand that a victim's family may attempt to sue you for taking the life of their loved one. Yes, people are petty like that. People will try to come after you, even if their loved one was in the wrong. The family may attempt to go after your homeowner's insurance. Also, understand that you will probably have to, not even probably, but it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have to pay legal fees, which can financially, mentally, and emotionally ruin your life. So just be very careful about when and how you decide you're going to take someone's life, because this is something that can change your life forever. So, as an honorable mention, understand that a domestic situation can result in you losing your firearms and the ability to possess your firearms. Unfortunately, some people get caught up in domestic situations, whether right or wrong, and they lose their guns. Don't be that guy. The moral of the story is read up on the laws in your state, understand where you can and cannot carry, understand the federal laws, understand the form 4473 to make sure you're filling that out correctly. Look at your state's stand your ground laws or castle doctrine laws. Understand what can happen once you pull that trigger. It's much more to it than just buying a gun. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go to the store and buy a gun and forget about it. No. When you buy that gun, maybe even before you buy that gun, do your research on the laws. Every time you think about changing the configuration of your firearm, make sure that you're using a configuration that is federally and state legal. Don't be a dumbass. Don't, have your head up your ass, or don't have your ego so inflated that you feel like you're too good to follow the law. At the end of the day, you don't want to play with your freedom. Don't be that guy. So, you guys take care of yourselves. Thank you for listening. That's it.